Let us take a sightseeing tour. A day in ennui.
I went from town to town around France looking for a place. How can we find everything in our movie in this town? Transform things, but use what's there and never leave. The French Dispatch is a portmanteau. It's a kind of omnibus film, a collection of short stories.
Set in a fictional French city, Ennui-sur-Blasé.
The city is ennui. The city isn't Paris. You know, it's sort of an imagined or amalgamated version of different aspects of old Paris.
So you can say it's France, but it's a poetic France.
It's created and has elements from the past or from fiction.
We're working in Angoulême, which is a beautiful, classic old town.
It's quintessentially French, and it's architecturally, it's beautiful.
It felt like it could be a period setting quite easily. It had levels. There's something just immediately gripping about a town with staircases and sloped roads and all these things.
Ennui rises suddenly on a Monday.
When I first read this script, it was clear to me that every sentence, as I read the first 30 pages, was an entirely new set. I immediately spoke to him and said, how do we do that?
Well, it started with a substantial panic. And a realization that that's exactly what this was, that each shot was really defining a new set.
I like how ruthless you are. It's part of your beauty, I think.
The kidnapper's lair, and we were building a whole new building, but a whole new building on kind of a mountain in the middle of the city. Wes has kind of a great history of finding alternate studio spaces.
The city of Angoulême became our sort of back lot.
We took over this factory, and that became a de facto film studio in the center of town.
Had a bunch of different factory bays, and we sort of took them over, and they were our different stages. And then we also had all of our workshops there, all of our storage there, and it became a studio. I mean, it really became an actual film studio, totally from scratch, without even electricity when we walked in the door.
How'd you get out there?
All the city of the town was working with Wes.
The people of Angoulême, there's well over 1,000 residents of Angoulême who are in the movie. So they became kind of our partners. We have an animated sequence in there, which was all animated in Angoulême with people who live there and study there.
This movie is obviously a tribute to France because all the visual references, they're like a real France, but they've been a bit twisted because they went through Wes's brain.
It's all from research. Even though it's a kind of confection, it's sort of invented stuff and the fantasy element to it, it is basically all from research. And how do we shape the research into our story? Whatever you're doing, that you want to do it and then try to give it as much authenticity as you can.
What is this world? What fast-paced, detailed, symmetrical, wonderland in this guy's head are we all being brought on ship for, to cross seas with him as our captain?
It reminded me a little bit of a pop-up magazine turned into film. The look of the film, the photography, the art direction, the attention to detail of the props, the wardrobe, the choreography between the acting and the camera. It's just very unique. It's just very Wes Anderson. He takes it to another level.
And action!
Wes takes his theater troupe, his company, and he, by magic, changes them to somebody new.
As usual, Wes has assembled such an amazing group of actors.
He had the usual cast of characters, big bunch of people, and I think he had most of the members of the Screen Actors Guild in the movie.
There's a pretty good roster of acting folks. It's as good as it gets.
This troupe of actors that he's worked with over the years, a lot of them come back, but there's new ones every time.
There's all these celebrities, actors that you look up to.
But what's cool is because it's Wes, everyone's bringing their AAA game.
All these actors not only are great professional actors, but they have this je ne sais quoi, which makes them different. They're not just Hollywood stars or theater stars. They have something else. And it's this something else that Wes goes and grabs. he morphs them into his own world. They come and have fun.
One more for the pleasure. Yeah. We have so many interesting actors in this movie. We have Tilda Swinton's character giving a lecture. Jeffrey Wright is on a television show. Frances McDormand she's more keeping a journal. There's this editor, Bill Murray plays.
Shrink the masthead, cut some ads, and tell the foreman to buy more paper. I'm not killing anybody.
So there are a lot of different spaces and times and things that are juggled, along with the fact that there's different stories and there's even the magazine around it all. That's why in the movie you see there are things in color, there are things in black and white. At a certain point, I just decided I'm going to do whatever I want. But I hope that it's all done in a way where it will gels and works together.
Just try to make it sound like you wrote it that way on purpose.
I think it's Wes. It's a fantastic world.
It's a gorgeous melange, but he made it one. He uniformed it in a way that's kind of astounding.
You see, he can get somebody to turn up for one scene.
He could have asked me to play the janitor and not have any lines, and I would have said yes, because it's Wes.
Even if it's 1 minute, 2 shots, 5 scenes, whatever it is, all the actors are happy to come because they know they're going to do something fun with a great group of people and always for a collective artwork.
This, to me, is the inside of Wes's mind. Everything about it is just chock full of surprises and interesting twists and turns. And if you had to say one thing that this movie is about, I would say it's about storytelling.
法兰西特派周报12月10日惊艳大荧幕。